Okay, we've reconnected with Tumaole Mohlaoli. He's in Soshanguve, about to tell us where we are in the process this afternoon after officials from the City of Tshwane promised angry residents that they will indeed have water supply in about, 2 hours time. Tumaole?
You've got it spot on there to do in about 2 hours time as the clock ticks down to that deadline. Residents here are certainly saying that they're not holding their breath because they have been promised water uninterrupted supply for the past couple of weeks now, which has led to this particular uprising. And they say this problem is long-standing and has been going on actually longer than that. And they won't take the word of the council. They'll wait till the deadline expires before they call off any service delivery protest. And should that deadline then pass and no water is in their taps, they can only basically envision that more of the same will continue. So we will continue to see more of a shutdown here in Soshanguve. I'm talking to you now by the corner of Mohlaoli and the R80. That's the intersection right here, very busy intersection. And I can tell you that you can see there that the Tshwane Metro Police Department officials and the SAPS authorities are now on scene, because earlier what had happened is that trucks, municipal trucks that were trying to make their way through this intersection were turned away by angry protesters. The protesters were angered, saying that these municipal trucks have not been operating, have not been collecting refuse, and they represent the municipality with which they are having all these grievances against. So this is the situation as we stand right now. I can tell you that no motorists are being hindered, apart from, of course, these blockades that have been set up here. No motorists are being actively intimidated, bar the municipality's trucks. But since the police arrived here, there has been no, interception or no stoppages of municipal or other vehicles, except, of course, by this infrastructure that you see on the ground, including that traffic light that has been, damaged. You can see there in shot one of the protesters holding up some intellectual waters being alcohol, I would suppose, and saying that he's drinking because there is no water. Certainly, it would seem that the use of alcohol has been quite prevalent during these protests. In shot right now, a member of the Tshwane Metro Police trying to clear the way, and you can see now in shot that police have now advanced, and they are trying to basically establish their authority as it stands. So we are now also going to speak to one of the community leaders here, Koketso. Koketso has been with us throughout the whole morning. Koketso, what is happening now? We see that the police are advancing. Tires have been lit up, and earlier trucks were intimidated and forced to make a hasty retreat. What can you say about the situation?
Yeah, Tumaole, I've seen something today that, thanks again once more. I've seen something today that in the absence of leadership, then you'd find a lot of things happening around our areas. But now we need leadership that will be precise of saying that this needs to be resolved and be resolved now. And when it is resolved now, it means that in the next coming 3 hours, as they did promise us that water would come, we don't have that thing tangible as it is. We were speaking to an engineer, not an MMC, not a leader of the city. But now that the police are provoking the community, nothing, I can't stand for nothing. I can't stand for something that I don't know, because of in the provocation of the community by Metro Police here, we don't know what would transpire or what would happen afterwards.
Yes, you phrase this as a provocation of the residents by Metro Police officials. How are they provoking the residents? Because we've seen them holding their ground and standing at a respectful distance at the local filling stations here, whereas residents continue to blockade the roads, main roads, and preventing traffic from going through. How is preventing traffic going to help alleviate your struggle?
Tumaole, if ever the main roads are not working, then it will simply show the world that there's something wrong where the roads are not working. If you can remember, even in the apartheid government, people used to protest like this. It seems that we're still living in that particular era of apartheid, that whenever a white man speaks, we should jump. Even now, you see that when this white man speaks to these metro people, these black officers, they come running, they run. They come running, and if you can even hear what's happening and see this behavior. You can see it is the behavior that is provoked by this white officer here, that is instructing black officers to come and chase our people around.
At the same time, we have a situation where a major road entering into and out of the R80, Soshanguve, is being blockaded. Isn't that provoking the officers into reacting? Isn't that provoking the motorists and the businesses, the trucks? You can see the truck there behind you, Mr. Koketso. It's basically having to go onto the oncoming traffic lane to avoid this blockade, and it needs to get where it's going to. You are not impeding it in terms of physically throwing stones or anything like that, but it's being impeded by this blockade. Isn't that impeding on its rights?
No, Tumaole, let's call a spade a spade. If our government couldn't listen to us, this Tshwane government didn't listen to us when we went to their municipal office in order for us to talk to them and show them that we don't have water and alert them that our areas is always the ones that do not have water. This couldn't be happening. Now that when we are here, we call this as impeding. We call this, you'll later hear people saying that this was barbaric, this was violence, this was what. But this is the language that they understand. What should the community do in this kind of a situation? Whereby even now, when you see them putting on more tires, they're putting more pressure on this Tshwane government to come and do what they have to do. It is not us that must tell them what to do. We are not workers of the municipality. We are not voted into council. We are not voted anyway. But these people, because of we've led them very nice and very well, even now they're starting to tell us we must never tell them anything. We must just keep quiet and look at what they are doing. Because of they feel that the leaders of this city are not doing anything to resolve their issues. And it's been 4 weeks. This is the 4th week. And the leaders of the city must stop lying, speaking of 5 days, 7 days. How can people be this angry for 7 days? We used to having water trucks for 7 days to 14 days. But now we see that enough is enough. We need to show them the only language that they do understand. We are painting these blocks very black. And if ever they do not understand, they must just look at my face. They just look at me. I'm a black man. You are a black man. We are painting Soshanguve black.
What happens if there's no water, Mr. Kokugusa, when the deadline expires? We're just about an hour away from the deadline expiring. What then?
If I was a fortune teller, Tumaole, I would then look at the future in the next coming hour or what's happening. But I see what will happen here in the next hour. I foresee that the metro officers will be instructed by this white man to shoot black people. And these black officers, you can see what they are doing now.
All right, as we speak right now, you can see that municipal truck or refuse removal truck. One of the protesters then opened the back of that truck and threw some rubbish on the ground. This has prompted the police officers to advance. As I speak to you right now, they are advancing, and the line that they've drawn has moved some way forward, right into the middle of that intersection, Obrimatala and the R80 where I'm standing right now. And they seem to have taken a more aggressive stance, and they won't allow any more disruptions. This comes off the back of Koketso Kokucha just giving us an update on to what the stance is in terms of the protesters. They say that they are going to continue with their protest action until their demands are met. You can see Kokucha there engaging with the police officer. We'll come bring you that engagement as and when it happens.
I did. It's very Tumaole. This is what they're doing is very wrong. It's very wrong.
Well, that's the latest from here. The officers saying they have nothing to say to the protesters, saying Luna, which means we've got nothing to say. And it seems as if this standoff is continuing to become a little bit more agitated. The temperatures rising up just as the smoke which is billowing from the burning tires. This is the picture that is emerging right here in Soshanguve. With that, it's back to you in the studio.
And hopefully that situation does not escalate, Tumaole, especially when there's intellectual waters involved. We'll touch base with you a little bit later on.